We're here today to talk about the Focus Mares CX 2.0. So cyclocross has really started to grow as a sport in Australia, but we're also going to talk about this bike as a commuter. So as a commuter bike, it's got the perfect setup, so we're going to go through some of the features and why it works from that aspect, as well as talking about some of the performance components of this bike. We've had this bike for a couple of weeks now, and although, so myself, I don't do any CX racing, but we have had the opportunity to take it on a few trails and do some CX-like courses and had a bit of fun that way. And we've also commuted on it for the last couple of weeks as well. So although we're not experienced CX racers, we're coming from it from the point of view if you wanted to get into CX, here are a few features that you can expect from this bike, and potentially get you thinking about some features that you might want to take note of if you are going to purchase a CX bike, either to race with or to commute on. So we'll talk about commuting first. So this is pretty much the perfect commuter bike. You probably can't tell from behind, but we had quite a bit of rain this morning. So the disc brakes that come as standard with the bike are perfect for that. So the performance doesn't get compromised in the wet like caliper braking does. So if it's super wet, or if the roads are slippery, or if there's a lot of dirt or grime or anything like that floating around, the disc brakes will handle that perfectly. So from a stopping and starting point of view, which you're going to have to do a lot if you're commuting through Metro City, these are perfect. As far as commuting goes, having the thicker tyres on there are fantastic as well. So if you're riding around anywhere that has tram tracks, obviously we all know they're a pretty big hazard. Cobbles as well, white lines, anything like that that causes any slip or potential falling hazards. The 33 tyres are really good to take the risk of that away. Obviously they offer a lot better protection from falling into the narrow cracks, and just give you a better feel on the road as well. So you feel a lot more in control, and the hazards that you would run into day to day aren't as big of an issue. The gearing on the CX bike as well makes it really good for commuting. So regardless of whether you live in a hilly area, a flat area, if you're riding towards an undulating terrain, there's enough ratio on there to cover all of those bases. So regardless of how strong you are as a rider, how far your commute is, whether it's flat or whether it's hilly, there's the ratio there to take that into account and cover that comfortably. So we've gone through the commuter benefits or the features of the bike, but obviously this is built for CX racing or cyclocross racing, so it's got a lot of performance features built into it. So let's go through that now. All right, so now it's time to... So to start with, the most obvious feature for the Focus Mares CX bike is the carbon frame and fork. So this obviously keeps the weight down. And then in addition with the tyres, the higher bottom bracket and the extra clearance, it still gives you a nice plush ride with all of the stiffness and the lightweight features or feel that you'd expect from a carbon frame and fork. So the drivetrain for the Mares CX 2.0 is a SRAM Rival 22. So we've got a 46 and a 36 on the front, and then a pretty traditional 1128 on the back. So this ratio will certainly get you up the steepest of climbs, but also enable you to carry a lot of speed through a lot of the tighter technical sections of any CX courses out there. So the wheel set are a DT Swiss R24 spline or spleen, however way you want to say it. So these perform really well. We took them across some pretty sort of tame trails, but we also hit up some rock gardens as well, which is probably more traditional course for, say, mountain biking, and the tyres and the wheel set handled it really well. So it can certainly take quite a bit of work and quite a bit of load, and it's sailed over those trails pretty comfortably. So Focus do a full line of CX bikes. So we've got the disc brake option, but you can also get the regular caliper braking option. We really prefer the disc brakes. Obviously, depending on the weather, you could be riding a course that's really muddy, that's really dirty. Normally you have some sand element to the course as well. So it's really easy for the caliper braking to get full up, for the performance to drop. With disc brakes, that's not going to happen. So we really think that's a great option, and one that really stood out when we test rode this bike. A cool feature on the Focus Mares CX bike is the rapid axle technology. So this technology actually won an award at Eurobike in 2014. So as opposed to releasing the quick the quick release skewers and spinning them off and then taking the wheel off. This one's just a 90-degree turn. So there's a little T-section at the end of the skewer that you can just put in, like I said, a 90-degree turn to tighten or to loosen. So this makes wheel changes really, really quick. So if you were to get a flat or some issues during the race, you can just quickly flip that off. And obviously that's going to save you a heap of time and get you back into the race a lot sooner. From a commuting point of view, it's obviously really handy as well because it's just one less thing that you have to worry about. We've had the Focus Mare CX bike for a couple of weeks, tested it on some CX type course and trails. Certainly taken it for a lot of commuting rides, but all in all, it's just a lot of fun. So the fatter tyres, the really compliant frame, the disc brakes, it's just so much fun whether you're commuting, whether you're racing, or you just want to have a bike to burn around on basically. So if you want to get into CX racing, this bike's perfect. If you just want to have a really cool commuter, this bike's perfect as well. So we'd really encourage everyone to try and find out a little bit more about CX racing. It's a really cool cycling discipline to get involved with. But also more so than that, these bikes are just great for racing and for commuting and just having lots of fun on.